ELO boosting and account buying. These are both terms that we as League players have heard many times before, but a lot of players don't really seem to realize what goes on behind these phrases closed doors. Today, we will be discussing these main two powers of League's underground economy, how they work, and whether the buyer should be aware or not. Also, here's the obligatory disclosure. This video is not to promote these services as they are clearly against Riot's terms of service, can cheat the competitive integrity of games with legitimate players, and are also practices that I do not condone nor use. So now that I've hopefully evaded the potential wrath of Riot Games, let's get into what many people consider to be the black market of League of Legends. To start off, let's discuss the generally less risky of the two markets. I said less risky. Though I assume most of you guys probably already know this, for those who may not be entirely familiar with the term, the following is what ELO boosting is. Johnny wants to reach Gold 4 for his Victoria skin, but is hard stuck Silver 3. Though he may believe his teammates are the ones holding him back, having a negative win rate over hundreds of games may be a sign that he won't be getting that Victoria skin for a while. So instead of actually learning and improving at the game, Johnny pays someone who is a significantly higher rank than him to play games on his account so he can get that skin. And believe it or not, this isn't too uncommon in League or any other competitive game for that matter. And if somehow you aren't entirely sure why this is morally wrong, you can go watch your Andrew Tate, go ahead and click off. I'm going to be uploading again in a week, so I'll see you then. Now, even though very likely a vast majority of you guys have never ELO boosted in your life, remember that League is a game that has over 100 million active monthly players. And believe it or not, some of those players, they have fragile egos. So when one of these players wants to boost their account, this is, at least from my understanding, how the process generally goes. After selecting from one of the dozens of sites online, the player will choose to what extent they want the boosting to occur. Once the player has submitted a request for their desired rank or goal, the application then goes to a dashboard in which the boosters for those sites can choose to pick up the task. Now obviously not every single booster on the site is going to have all the qualifications needed to fulfill the request. And in combination for how demanding the request is, the prices can vary from money inside of a birthday card or all the way up to 1 month of Twitter Blue. Depending on how quickly you clicked on this video after it was released, that joke is either hilarious or Twitter no longer exists. So now that the player's request has been taken up, a booster or sometimes multiple boosters will get to work on the order depending on how long it will take. So now I'm going to show you a real quick clip from one of donghuap's videos where he has an actual booster explain what it's like to level up one of these accounts.
I would wake up, I would play for like 10 hours, eat, play 10 hours, eat, play 10 hours, eat, play 5 hours, sleep. Something like that, like 36 hours cycles. Like don't sleep for 36 hours, sleep for 12 hours. This for a week, that should be 25 games a day. It's like 50 games in 2 days and then you sleep. So it's like 150 per week.
Once an order is completed, the booster will receive payment based on the order's pricing, but will of course have to share a lot of their revenue with the company providing the service.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!
And for those wondering if you could make a living off of this, just know that A, you would have to be single, which is it's not really a problem for most League players, but you would also have to live in a country with generally pretty low income, and not to mention these payments are kind of inconsistent. Now, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, from the player side of things, this really doesn't seem to be too bad of a situation. And don't worry, we'll be getting into some of the more extreme cases in a little bit. But all things considered, there are reputable ELO boosting sites, and if you lack the morals and have the money, then I mean, I guess you could just disregard the rules and go for it. After all, it's not like it's literally against the rules for Riot's games. However, I think many of us are familiar with one of the internet's golden rules. Just because someone says it on the internet doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You are letting someone access your account which not only has RP but also has parts of visible credit card information. Not only that, but in some cases for freelance ELO boosters, these accounts can be taken and sold without the player even knowing for a while. And if you're enjoying this video so far, consider subscribing if you haven't already, but if you're just stopping by, I thank you regardless. As I previously mentioned, ELO boosting services are generally considered the less risky of the two services mentioned in this video. When it comes to the market of account buying, that's where things can get pretty dicey. Since I assume account buying is a pretty self-explanatory term, I'll quickly explain what both parties would want in this process that is against Riot's terms of service. When it comes to the buyers, they're most likely buying for rank or skins. After all, skins are especially noteworthy considering some skins are entirely unattainable nowadays and only certain accounts will ever have them. Now, while there are of course some sellers who are just looking to make some quick cash after quitting League of Legends, there are a lot of sellers out there who are selling these accounts without permission. And if you're wondering why it could be dangerous to let someone access your account for boosting purposes, well, there you go. Considering that I have an audience that's presumably above the 3rd grade level, I'll point out when it's pretty easy to tell when an account is being sold illegitimately. This account right here displays 40 skins. Since skins are roughly $11 US and there are 40 in the account, and 40 times 11 is obviously 440, then why is this account being sold for $79? Not to mention it also has mythic essence and other resources in it. Now you could make arguments for skin rarity or selection, but once again, overall, if you want to be a better League player, buy coaching, a reputable guide, or if you really want those skins, then get the ones that are readily available. I'm grateful that you felt I was able to provide some worthwhile content throughout the duration of this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I will catch you all in the next one. Later.